Thank you very much for joining our webinar, which is all about how digital marketing works. As we had in the section, there's lots of buzzwords: SEO, Google Ads, hashtags, you name it. There is so many acronyms and buzzwords that we as a company in the industry probably throw out and assume everyone just knows what they mean. But I'm assuming most people kind of don't unless you're really in the game. So we want to unpack a lot of that. What does it mean? But really from Mick, who is our kind of technical person, I'll introduce Mick in a sec. But myself as a business owner, as the business owner of Heartbeat Digital, I want to try and impart as best I can how it actually impacts your business. So, there's a lot of stuff that happens on a technical side, but we want to I want to try and impart what that actual, the end result is for your business, which, if you're investing money, you obviously want to know what does that go towards. So we will do our best over the next hour. But yeah, feel free to jump in with a question. I will be following that whilst Mick is running through it. So Mick, I will introduce you. Mick is our digital marketing lead. Mick has been with the company from its inception 6 years ago. We turned 6 years old in January. Mick knows all things about all things. He's a consummate professional, fabulous tennis player. Mick also used to live in Austria, just moved back to our fair shores of Australia in December, January, just this year. So welcome, Mick, and let's kick things off.
Thank you very much, Lachlan. A wonderful introduction. I appreciate it. So all the things Lachlan said as well, I just want to make you aware that hello@heartbeatdigital.com.au, you can email us there if you have any questions following this presentation. Also, as we get to the next page here, one of you lucky people, only one of you, will be getting an Uber Eats voucher sent to you at the conclusion of this webinar. Well, not straight afterwards, but within a day or so. Julian, I think normally we figure out who gets the who gets the Uber Eats. But again, any time you want to email us, it's hello@heartbeatdigital.com.au. We've got a fair bit to get through today. We've got an hour set aside, and we will be having questions. We'll try and answer your questions as best we can at the end. And if you have any really timely questions to ask during it, maybe you can ask them in the Q&A thing there or the chat, and Julian can let us know that we should be answering something. So I'm going to do the first poll question now, Lachlan. Is that all right with you?
Let's hit it up.
Let's do it. It's my first ever.
And the question isn't how many of you have just registered to get the Uber Eats voucher. it's a real question.
Yeah, 30 people just dropped off, Lachlan, as soon as I said that. But no, they're all still here. So the first poll question is biggest marketing challenge right now, and a couple of people are already answering, and the answers are coming in thick and fast. So yeah, that's great. So in the lead now is getting more leads and customers. Not big surprise. So what we will be basically covering today is what digital marketing is. So a simple explanation. The channels used. The tools, I guess, the avenues to goal, if you want to put it in football parlance, the impact on your business, which is what Lachlan is here mainly to discuss. The digital marketing process it's a pretty complicated thing. We'll try and make it as simple as possible. Why hard work at the start means better results later. I guess that's pretty much reflected through all of life, but in digital marketing, that's the same. We'll give you some real results from clients of ours. And getting towards the end there, we're going to talk about the one thing that people are really interested in is budgeting, time and money. And then at the end, we'll wrap up and answer any questions you guys have. But we can see there with the first poll, Lachlan, I don't know if you can see those results, that the clear winner.
I can't see them, by the way.
All right. Yeah. But the clear winner.
Also, oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
Sorry, the clear winner is what's your biggest marketing challenge? The clear winner with 60% is getting more leads and customers. And yep, that's not a big surprise. And also figuring out where to spend my budget is also quite high, and finding the time to do it all. Well, finding the time to do it all, I can tell you how to fix that. You hire an agency to do it for you. That would be my advice, and preferably us. So
hey, just a quick wedge in here. Jules, just by the way, for everyone's wondering why we're referring to Jules is Mick's other little avatar.
Oh, yeah.
The chat is disabled. I don't know if you can enable that quickly, please.
Could Mick
It's just going to be
enable it on his end?
Chat.
just going to be a setting. I have no idea where that is. If it's
I can go chat to everyone. It doesn't say it's disabled, but I can go. It's just set to hosts and panelists.
Yep, it's working, Lock. We're good.
yeah, but it's only to hosts and panelists. Is it to everyone?
Oh, do you want to show the chat to everyone, Lachlan? Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
I've set it to everyone.
Yeah,
Dunsky.
beautiful, excellent.
Okay,
Feel free to say hello if you want to say hello in the chat.
Yep. Then everyone, just
Great.
be aware that if you're trying to send us any secret messages, that everyone will see it. I'm sure you're not anyway. But okay, so what is digital marketing? It's pretty clear and obvious that it's any way that you use the internet to market. So it's not, what it isn't is it's not radio ads, it's not newspaper ads, it's not dropping brochures in people's mailboxes, it's online marketing. So what we use to do online marketing, I guess one of the main things we use is a website. So if you don't have a website, then you've come to the right place. So we use a website and we use search engines to enable people to find that website. We use social media. We use emails or EDMs. Steve's raised his hand. We use ads, pay per click. So that would be within the Meta ecosystem. That would be Instagram, Facebook. Plus, we also use pay-per-click ads in LinkedIn as well. And of course, Google ads. So businesses use it to grow. Like all businesses pretty much these days would do some form of digital marketing. If they're not, they're obviously missing out. And it's incredibly scalable and flexible, and it's a long-term investment that brings you, the key word at the bottom here is measurable results. So how it's different, I guess, than traditional marketing is if you put a radio ad on, you have no idea how many people have heard that ad. If you put something in the newspaper, you have no idea how many people have seen that ad in the newspaper. But with digital marketing, it's all trackable, all measurable, and there's very little can slip through the cracks. So I think that's a pretty short summary, but I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I think most of you here know what digital marketing is. Right. So we are a digital marketing company. Obviously, we have started out mainly in healthcare, but we do a lot of, a wide variety of things. Now we market for a wide variety of industries, but we went to a health conference last year, and in preparation for this conference, we decided to conduct a survey so we weren't just using our experience to tell people what was important for their digital marketing. We actually conducted a survey and asked people themselves. So we surveyed a large pool of people, about 10,000 people. And this is a small portion of the results that came back. We have a whole survey which you can access online somewhere, Julian. We should get that link. Maybe put in the chat if you can buzz off and get that link for us in a second, Julian, get that link for the survey, because there's a lot of stuff in there. And how important is it for a healthcare provider to have an online presence? So a very small percentage said not important. So that's 6.5% of people. And the other 93% said it's either very important or somewhat important. So clearly, for healthcare providers, you have to have a good online presence. And the interesting one we've chose to put in here as well is what would improve your experience with the healthcare providers' online presence? And pretty much all, they basically said everything. Like it's a dead heat between a lot of these ones. So it's email, social media, website, Google visibility, booking systems. So it's kind of like nearly everything you have to get right in terms of a website. This is for healthcare providers, but I guess, my guess is that is across all industries really, is that you can't just do one thing well. You've got to do everything. Now I'm going to go to the next.
Can everyone see that link that's just been put up there for what patients really want? Just chuck it in there for yep, got
You
it.
put in there digitals? Okay, great.
Because for some reason I'm still seeing host and panelist.
Right. Okay.
Anyone tech support here in the webinar?
Tech support. We need IT. Turn it on and off again.
Yeah.
So why don't we launch another poll now, Lachlan, before we get into this slide? I've been talking for a long time, but Lachlan is going to talk again, I promise. I'm going to launch the second poll, which is best describe your current marketing. So we'll see how many people respond to this. Hopefully a lot of you. So that poll's up there now. So the basic tools, channels we use for digital marketing are as follows. So SEO, I'm sure you've heard of SEO. Some people call it the dark arts, the voodoo, internet voodoo, SEO, but it's search engine optimization, basically organically. When we say organically, we mean free, a free way to appear in searches. So now, Lachlan, what would be the business impact of having good SEO?
Fantastic. And hang on. Steve Dart, you're just a gem. For participants to access the chat, click the chat icon in the meeting control bar at the bottom of the screen. And then for hosts, you want to enable it for participants.
Chat.
I just want to get that right. Anyway, here's that little interlude here. I just want to make sure that we've got this right.
Okay. I'll click your chat, and there's yeah, it's just not giving me those options. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. We might just be chatless. So SEO, business impact. So obviously Google is the big gorilla in the room, and Mick will get to Google. They cost a lot of money to put ads into the top of Google. SEO is going to give you a Google presence or an online presence for search that doesn't cost you a charge for every time someone clicks. And that's really important, because long term, if you can get your SEO right, that is going to, there's obviously an investment in getting your SEO right, but and then an ongoing investment, but it is going to work out significantly cheaper for people to be able to jump onto search and say, I'm looking for X in my area, and you come up in those organic searches. So it is a long-term play for enhancing your digital presence.
Absolutely correct. And long term, medium to long term is the key word there, Locke, because you don't just get SEO results immediately. Like, they take time and they take a lot of work. So, but it is amazing, because if you're just a small business and you have the time, put the energy into it, you can outrank massive competitors just by having a better website for them. Like, you'll never outspend them with Google Ads. They got $1 million budgets, but if you just have a better website, it's an amazing meritocracy. Actually, you can get above them in the rankings, which is a great thing. It just takes work. Google Ads. Now, this is the second thing we're covering. The second channel. So this is basically you pay to skip the queue and go to the top of the list, and it's a pay per click setup. So people click on your ad, and it gives you, they go to your website and hopefully they become a customer of yours, but you have to pay. And depending on the market you're in and what you're selling and where you're selling it, clicks can be very expensive or they can be very cheap. So, Locke, what do you think about the business impact of these Google ads?
Yeah, this is the immediate one. This is where someone says to us, I need customers, leads, I need them straight away. I don't right now want to focus on the long or medium to long term. I need leads now. And there's always a place for that, because you hit the green button on Google Ads, they start appearing. And what I love about them is that they have an immediate impact, and they drive conversions really, really well. If you kind of say to us, here's exactly what I need to convert, it's a booking, it's a payment for a widget, we can go, cool, we put that into the end result, the goal, and we then turn the ads on based on all of the algorithms that we know and our processes, and away you go. So it's the high intention. I am on Google saying, I'm looking for a blue leather jacket, within Australia. Up comes an ad. You'll see them everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, they're an amazing tool. We use them a lot. And look, to be honest with you, Google Ads is an entire presentation on its own. We could talk about it for 2 or 3 hours, but we just have to touch on it briefly. But in some markets, which I'll show you afterwards, I'll pop out of this presentation. If you're not using Google Ads, you're basically in witness protection. Some markets are so competitive with Google Ads that you basically need to use them to get into the game. Another channel that we use is social media. Now, social media, you know, if we were doing this presentation 6 years ago, there used to be a lot of trepidation and fear from people saying, oh, I don't want to use it. What if someone says something bad about the business, blah, blah. You know, it was, but now I think that time has passed. It's here and it's here to stay. And if you are not using it, you're missing out on a massive opportunity. It's a great place to tell the story of your business, great place to engage actually with your actual customers. So, Locke, you know a thing or two about this.
Yeah, to me, this is just one word, community. This is all about your community that you want to talk to. It's talking directly to not just your customers, it's talking to people who are interested, in your topic, in your service, in your widget. And this is just a fantastic way to set yourself up as an authority in whatever industry that you're in. And for the people, if you can create content on your little niche in your industry, then your community will thrive and be added value to, and then engage. And whether it's now or whether it's next year, there'll come a point where someone who isn't an existing customer of yours says, goodness me, I've been listening to those guys. They've been punching out all this great content for the last 12 months. And now it's come to the crisis point where I need it. They're going to think of you first because you've built that community, it builds trust, and you're at the top of mind.
Yeah, great point. And I guess that's really goes nicely into the next point, which is content marketing. So social media, content marketing, kind of like in the same area. So again, content marketing, which you probably most commonly see in the form of blogs, I guess, videos, blogs, this kind of thing. Again, it's really about establishing yourself as an authority, a trustworthy, relevant authority in the field that you're in. And particularly, you know, a lot of you people in this webinar I know are from healthcare, and that's a really, in the eyes of Google, it is incredibly important when you're talking about, they call it your money or your life. If you are speaking about financial things or about medical things, having an authoritative presence is very important. So getting your doctor to write, to write some articles would be great, or to at least sign off on some articles, things like that. So again, positions you as the expert and turns trust into inquiries. And it's not, so both social media and this content marketing thing are not the sort of things that are going to get you instant, fill your books or get you more leads like the Google ads will, but they go into building momentum. And like Lachlan said, community, goodwill towards you and your business. The next one we'll touch on would be email marketing, and we do this a lot for our clients. And I guess another, we're saying don't let your customer base stagnate. That's great. It's about nurturing the relationships you have with your current customers, and also getting new customers. So, Locke, what do you want to say about email marketing in terms of a business perspective?
Yeah, it's loyalty. So the reason why you've got their email address is because they have registered for something, for some information. They've been a customer, and so now this is this beautiful nurture stage. It's like hopefully you've done a great job. They came to you because you were the expert from your content marketing, from your ads or whatever. Now this is into loyalty, and loyalty is telling their friends, telling their family, telling everyone, shouting from the rooftops, these guys are great because I had their service. It was easy to deal with them. Now they're keeping me informed, via email through this really great content or whatever you're sending via email. And that loyalty then hopefully leads to when they need you again, they just go straight back. And that is free. Doesn't cost you a thing.
And if you say, Locke, we use it a lot. And I would say of the 42 people who are currently in this webinar right now, I'd say a lot of them are here because of the EDMs we send out, the emails. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe we needed a new poll. Why are you here?
Maybe we need a chat that actually works. But hopefully we're adding value.
Yeah.
And it comes with no strings attached. It comes with we're adding value because that's just who we are. That's what we want to do. That's just how we do business, and it just comes with nothing attached to it except for we want to enhance your business life.
Yep, and it's great. I mean, in email marketing, if you read any marketing stats, it is the highest converting channel possible is email marketing. So another thing I should say about it is like we do this on behalf of our clients. We'll send out however many thousand emails, and then it's not just like throwing them into the void. We can see exactly how many people have opened them. We can see exactly how many people have clicked on them. We can see exactly how many people have come through to a certain page on the website that we've directed them to. And if you're a medical business, for example, we can see how many of those people have even booked an appointment. So again, it's this massive difference between this, what we're doing, and traditional marketing is there's 100% visibility, zero mystery, which allows you to make better decisions going forward. And I guess the last point here, bringing it all together, the big kahuna is the website. So this is the digital storefront, the hub of everything else. All of these things we've spoken about today come back into the website. It's the central node that connects everything. Worth saying, it's the only thing online that you actually own as well. You might have an amazing Facebook page with 10,000 followers. Mark Zuckerberg could wake up in a bad mood tomorrow and shut it down for no reason. You might have a TikTok following. Maybe you're a dancing doctor or something, or someone, I don't know. But, TikTok was turned off briefly in America, and it can be turned off again tomorrow here. You don't own it, but your website, you own it. And it is, one of the most valuable things you have in your arsenal. So, Locke, what do you think about that?
The business impact is that it's on 24/7 and it just works. And as long as you have this website, your website set up, structured correctly to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, and it sounds like 60% to achieve leads. As long as you have that structured and set up, it's working when you're sleeping. And I just love that. The more things you can get of that in business, the better.
Yeah, true. It's a free kick. Now I'll go to the poll results. So what best describes your current marketing? That was the last question we asked. 36%. So it's a dead heat between two answers, which are we're trying different things but not sure what's working. So that's 36%. And we've done bits and pieces, but it's inconsistent. That's another 36%. So I'd say that 99% of the people who come to us, Lachlan, would have those two things that they've said, because we're not usually, or sometimes we are the first people that a client will come to, but a lot of the time they've done stuff and they know, really common that they say, we have no idea if it worked or not. That's a common one, isn't it, Locke?
Yep.
And the other one is
done tracking.
Yeah, inconsistent. Yep. Let me. Oh, I think I might have to end that poll. Wait a second. I think I'm going to end it to do another one. What do I do? Share results back. I'm not sure. Here we go. I'll launch another poll. No, it won't let me launch it. I've got it back. Apologies. Launched. I have to end that one to start another one. Okay, here we go. Here's another poll question coming for you. Launching it now. What are you least confident in doing yourself? I think the wording's a bit wrong there. It just shows least confident in doing yourself. What are those things listed there? Are you least confident in achieving? Running ads, yep, coming up. Showing up on Google SEO, yep. Okay, so that'll be one we'll keep an eye on. So now the impact on businesses, we've kind of touched on that in the previous slide. But all of this obviously has a massive impact on your actual business, and not just fancy things we like to do for ego's sake. The higher you get in the rankings, the more leads you get, which results in more bookings and better customer retention. So digital marketing works around the clock, as Lachlan's already mentioned. And of course, as we've already mentioned again in this presentation, it's all about tracking, making data, but are data-based decisions. Now, this thing on the right here that you'll see a little bit when people present to you and tell you why they're going to be a great agency is marketing funnel. And different channels that we've spoken about today are good for different parts of this funnel. Like, for example, the awareness top of the funnel here, social media is amazing for awareness. For example, if you open a new clinic or a new business in Fitzroy in Melbourne, you can put out a simple social media ad or boost a post and target that area and let everyone who's scrolling through their phones all day anyway, you can let everyone on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you can let them all know that you have this new business and that you exist. So that is an extremely powerful thing to do. And probably should mention that with those kind of awareness campaigns with social media, it's very cost effective as well. Like it doesn't cost that much to get out into the Meta ecosystem and let a lot of people know you exist. Now, going down to the conversion stage here, which is really good, Google Ads would be great at this part of the funnel. That's going to cost you a little bit more, but you'll get more instant results. It's a slower build with the social media stuff. Locke, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, the visual's really great because you cast the net really wide, just telling everybody, no matter what, if it's relevant to you. And as you get down, that funnel comes down, you get a bit more granular. And that's where you want your dollars to really have an impact as that funnel gets shorter and shorter.
Yep. And just the results here, Locke, from the last one. What are you least confident in doing yourself? So the clear winner here is running ads, and I'd say that is no surprise, and it is the most dangerous thing to do by yourself because you run the risk of wasting a huge amount of money if you don't know what you're doing. So, yep, no surprise there. In second place, we have SEO. So I'll end that poll. Yeah, and SEO again is hard because there is a fair bit of technical knowledge required.
The funny thing is that Google and Meta, they make it so easy to start a campaign, add your credit card in, start taking your money. That is 3-4 clicks and you're done.
Yeah.
The hard part comes in the magic of actually making that money and that investment funnel through to exactly what you wanted it to do in the first place, which is usually more leads.
Yep.
More bookings.
And Google, God bless them, Google, they make it sound easy. So if you start a Google business profile and then you put yourself on the map and you go for reviews and all that sort of stuff, you make your Google business profile, they'll come up with the big thing saying, hey, you should advertise, it's easy. And you go, oh, that sounds good. And you put your credit card details in there, and then you watch your funds in your bank account go through the floor, and you have no idea whether it's resulted in anything. Like, truth of the matter is, it's really hard and complicated to set up a proper Google Ads campaign. And it doesn't just mean you have to learn how to use the Google Ads panel, which is like a space shuttle in and of itself and getting more complicated every day. But you also have to put all this tracking stuff on the website. You also have to make the landing pages on websites perfect to receive the ads, because the better the website is, the better the landing page, the higher the quality score, the lower the cost. So it's very complicated, and we spend a lot of time here, I'd say other agencies do too, in tweaking, refining these ads and the websites that they are attached to. So, Locke, without any further ado, well, you can introduce your...
Speaking of simplifying things, we try and simplify the complicated. And what we have done is, over the 6 years that we've had this agency, we've essentially got a framework, and we've called that framework the Business Accelerator Method. And it really does simplify things for, I guess, our audience, but internally, the cogs are moving at a rapid rate. And the Business Accelerator Method really focuses on 3 main areas. Your poor profit margins. So kind of what we were talking about, there's a lot of wastage, a lot of leakage. You might have consistent profits or revenue, but your margins are getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed because there's a lot of wastage. We get rid of that. Stagnant revenue. So really breaking that revenue plateau. You might have gone, we're going up and down and up and down, but it's really fluctuating between a 2 and 3% increase or decrease either way. So we're really unlocking that growth that you just maybe haven't been able to crack yourself. And then the last one is, what we really find is, we are a do-it-for-you agency, which essentially means give us your targets, give us your goals, and we will go and do it for you. Obviously, whilst keeping you informed and updated through reports, through phone calls, through meetings, through any mechanism you want. It's really giving you time back to not stress about those first 2 items, and giving it to someone who actually has a track record of making it happen. And that's really the key to it. What's behind it is all of those items that we've discussed, and it works. And I guess the beauty of it is, when you do it for long enough, you can then go, hey, I reckon we can repeat this. And that framework is all repeatable. So it's making the complicated very simple. So if any of those three are kind of where you are sitting, and if from what the poll we're hearing is needing more leads, that's just going to be that kind of unlocking the growth in your revenue through more leads.
Yep. So Lachlan, do you mind if I launch another poll now, my friend?
Go for it.
Okay, this one's, what is your return from your past digital marketing efforts? So not in terms of dollars, but just really positive, some results, good but not bad. So I'll leave that poll up there and you guys can start filling it out. So I think Lachlan's touched on this, but the process is important. I mean, we've spoken about the channels, but the order in which you do things and making sure it's repeatable and scalable, as Lachlan's touched on. I think I can say honestly here that Lachlan, this is, over the 6 years that we've been doing this is the thing that we've improved upon the most. And now we're getting it down to a very fine art. And I think the one that we do, and hopefully every other agency, if you work with other agencies, what you need to do is this bit at the start with the big telescope discovery. And that's something that we're doing a lot more of now, Lachlan, and maybe you can go into that because you're the man who does it.
Yeah, it's kind of my favorite part, because we see this process as a real partnership. And so it's getting to know you. It's our first date. We've kind of seen each other across the room. We said hi, but this discovery is our first date. Do you like long walks on the beach? Yes. Excellent. How many kids do you want? 3. Excellent. We're finding about all these goals. We're learning about your history, who you are, where you've been, but then we're learning about where do you want to go? What's your North Star? Who do you like hanging out with, which is your target audience? All of these questions that is so important for anyone to know, anyone who is doing any marketing for you. You need to know this information up front before you start. If he or she says, I don't want any kids, and you go, geez, I want 5, then we're not a good fit. And that is equally important at this first point. Are we a good fit? And can we achieve what goals you want? And it's really great to learn that up front, rather than, you've moved in together, we're living together, and then you have the conversation, and then you go, whoa, shit, I've just wasted 6 months of my life. So we can just get all that out of the way, get this up front. So we establish your goals, and you define, what does success look like? And then around what does success look like, you put KPIs around it. So along the way, you can go, are we on track? Month 3, month 4, month 6, month 12, are we on track? Yes or no? Again, it's just keeping it simple. And if you're not, let's get back on track. And then that dictates the strategy of how we will get there, and the road that we will take. And what really we pull out of the discovery is called a roadmap. Literally, it is the Hume Highway from Melbourne to Sydney. We just go, we're gonna sit on that at 112 kilometres an hour. If you like, cribbing up 2Ks over the limit, and that's just, we know we're on track because we've set that roadmap and strategy.
Yep, perfect, Lock. And I think we should mention here as well that, like, sometimes you do a discovery session and you come out and go, it's not a good fit. Like, you actually have to actually be able to see yourself, to go back to the romance analogy. You have to be able to see yourself going forward with it, don't you, Locke? Because sometimes you go to these meetings and you go, you know what, we're a good marketing agency. I'm sure they're a good business, but it's not a good fit. So then we just go, you know what, we part as friends and we don't go forward together.
Absolutely. If you have any questions on this, just feel free to chuck them in the Q&A down the bottom, because I think this is a really important part, that if you don't get this part right, you set the entire investment up for failure. Especially what I do find is a lot of people just go, look, I just want more leads. I'm like, yeah, cool. Okay, what does that mean? How does that look? Like, is it, how many do you need? And really actually quantifying the objectives and goals, because the clearer and more granular you can get those goals, then the better anyone who's working on your business it happens. And I'm a big believer as well in manifestation. If you can send out to the world, what you want, then the universe has a funny way of delivering it. But if you can actually tell that to an agency or your marketing managers, here's what we need to achieve, then everyone's kind of working in alignment.
And I think, Lachlan, what you touched on there is really interesting, because sometimes when you do these meetings, and I've done them as well, is that you ask questions about what does success look like, or how many leads you're getting currently, and how many do you need. People have no idea. So it makes them sort of go back into their own business and go, geez, we should know that. And
Yeah,
then
it's not
next time
uncommon.
you meet them and they go, okay, this is what we figured out. So it's not just
Mm,
for us to find out stuff. It actually ends up results in businesses finding out stuff that they needed to
yeah,
know anyway. Um,
absolutely. And there's a big reason for it. It's because most of these businesses, most of you guys, you've chosen to be here. It means you care. You want to learn. And most of the businesses we find, they don't know it because they're so focused on their customers. They're doing a fantastic job on the customers, and achieving for them what their customers want, that you kind of sometimes forget about yourself, and you kind of realize, hey, we need a bit of self-love here. We got to think about ourselves here too.
Very true. Um, so to move on just quickly, we will run out of time, by the way, Lachlan. So just saying, after we do the discovery,
Yeah.
we establish the goals. What does success look like? Then we tailor a strategy. So it's not just a cookie cutter. Oh yeah, everyone gets this, and then you're into the team. No, we tailor a strategy for your business. Then you implement the tracking. It's a really important part, but it's purely technical, so I won't bore you with it. But this makes sure that the bit at the end with the report and refine, that works, because if you don't implement your tracking and have as much visibility on what's going on as possible, then you're really flying blind. Bespoke channels. So yeah, again, goes into the refining a strategy for you. I mean, do you want ads? Do you want social media? Do you want content? Do you want EDM? Do you need a new website? A lot of the times we'll do all of this, but sometimes, for example, if you're a new business and you have no email list yet, then we won't do EDMs, because it's pointless to send EDMs to no one, for example. Or maybe you've already got a hugely successful Facebook page that you are happy to manage yourself and you do that well. We'll say, okay, we'll leave that to you. It's up, you're going well. So that's a couple of examples of we can, make packages that suit you. Then we always optimize campaigns as we go along. There's always a lot of work goes into tweaking and refining. And then at the end of every month, report and refine, or the end of every quarter, depending on what you want. And that's where, there's no hiding from the results. You can't make up results in Google Analytics as much as you'd love to. You cannot fake it. They're the results, they're the real results, and that's written in stone, and you can't run away from them. And then you have to make decisions based on them. So the poll, by the way, Lachlan, I'll just get to the next poll here. We have what is the return from your past digital marketing efforts? And the clear winner here with 38% was some results, but not consistent, which is good. Really positive. We had 2 people out of 21 say they were really positive. So
Right.
that's 10%. That's the bottom.
Fantastic.
That's the worst. That's the worst result. Haven't
Oh,
seen
well, at
much of
least
a
someone
return.
has.
Yeah, haven't seen much of a return 2024, and haven't really measured it, is 29. So obviously
Yeah.
with the measuring, as we've gone on about ad nauseum
Yeah.
today, that's something you
Yeah.
need to do. But most people have some results, but not consistent.
Yeah.
And I'll launch the next poll now, which is time per week on
All
marketing
right.
right now. How much time do you spend on marketing right now?
So we've got
Now,
20 minutes to go, so we might need to just
yeah. Okay.
keep
Well,
things
let's
moving.
move through this, because how do all the channels work together? Very quickly, SEO and Google Ads give you visibility and conversions. By the way, social media and email build trust, and the great website. That's where it all comes together, and that's where you get your conversions in combination with all those things. So I don't think we need to linger too long on that one. Lachlan, correct me if I'm wrong. And here's another interesting one. So hard work at the start equals more revenue later, or more success later. And this is probably, again, like every pursuit on earth pretty much would come down to these, would fall into this category. So, Locke, I don't know if you want to expand upon that at all.
I would just expand to say, we wouldn't have known this unless the data told us.
Yeah.
And this is 6 years of experience saying, you know, just like an 800-meter race, you see them bolt off and then they get into a cruising mode. You don't see
Yeah.
them start slow and accelerate as you get to the finishing line. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I'd say. The results tell us how that
Yeah.
works.
And this is from, again, some hard-earned experience, which we'll go through into the next slides, where we're going to show some real results from some real clients. We can't tell you who they are, unfortunately, but with some of these clients, this is very, very true about, you really have to get into it early, and then these results, maybe a little bit of pain, a slight bit of pain early to do all the work necessary, but then the results come. So we'll move on to the next. By the way, Lachlan, the last poll was the time per week spent on marketing right now. Most people spend 1 hour or 1 to 3 hours. No one spends more than 5 hours. So that the equal winners are less than 1 hour or 1 to 3 hours. So actually, no, most people spend less than 1 hour on marketing.
And that's per week, is it?
Yeah, how much per week? Yes. So
yeah, right. Yeah,
so
interesting.
Not a lot of time.
Yeah,
you need more time than that. So.
Yep. Well, one hour per week, I don't think we'll get you results like this. And this is, I guess, comes back to a question of what impact can digital marketing of all these streams combined, aligned, working their butts off? What can it actually get? And again, this is data that cannot be made up. What we do is we ask our clients, what's the worth of a conversion to you to be able to actually garner these results? And this is a client who, I will preface this one that they've been a client now with us for several years, but this was just the last 12 months, from 1st of Jan, 31st of December. Their investment with us as our agency over that 12-month period, $139,200. Now, that might sound a lot. They definitely didn't start at that level. This was a growing kind of budget that, as we kind of proved results to them and they were seeing the return on their investment, they kind of, unleashed the hip pocket further and further, and continuing to do so because the value that we generated for them was nearly $1.4 million. So basically, at the start of the year, I could have said to them, hey, over this course of this year, every dollar that you spend with me, I'm going to give you 9 back. I think that for anyone, even for us as an agency, it's something we're immensely proud of, that we have, enabled that business to continue to grow, and the product that they have serves the community incredibly well. So it's a partnership that we're really, really proud of, to provide a 9 times return on investment there.
Yep. So that's this is a nationwide pharmacy. And I should also, just to add to what Lachlan said, which is all true, is that out of that $139,000, that includes their spend on Google. So a lot of that went to the nice people at Google on ads, but a huge return, obviously. And this is a perfect example, this client, of trying hard early, putting in the hard work early, and then getting the results later, because we didn't come out of the blocks getting these results for these people. We had to do a lot of stuff early in cooperation with them, including building them a new website. We tried to do the marketing that we knew we could do on their current website, and it just didn't work, because we were doing all this great stuff to bring people to the site, and they got to the site that we hadn't built, and they went, and then they fell off. We could see them falling off when they got to the website. So we put in the hard work to build a new website. We wrote all these articles. We did all this work in SEO, and that takes time to come to fruition. But because SEO is not instant, you might write some amazing content, do some great SEO, and it'll take 6 months for Google to really give you value for that. So yeah, this is a great example of sticking with it. And then I think actually probably the previous year might have even had some more amazing results. But I mean, it's crazy return, basically.
Yeah.
Next one.
Queensland-based medical specialist, and we often get our business comes from GP referrals. I say, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. The data tells us it could be both. But our part that we play in it is kind of makes me want to go back to university and do what these guys do, because this is obviously a very high-end product service that they've got, that they're selling. So, one conversion is worth a lot of money. Yep. And we got them a lot of conversions. Again, it was a lot smaller of an ad spend, so we wanted to kind of show you a degree of spends that people often ask me, how much does digital marketing cost? And I say that's That's not even a question.
Yeah.
It just all depends on what you want to do. These guys were really clear on what they wanted to do, wanted to drive more leads like most of you guys do, and that we did, and plenty of them for this company, and that was a hugely successful, still is a hugely successful ongoing campaign for the medical specialists here.
Yep. And again, a pretty very small budget as opposed to the last client, which is it's a different type of market, obviously.
Yep.
One more success story here. This is what one of our favorite quotes up there in the top is: the total digital marketing cost paid for itself within the first month.
Yep.
So
That's pretty, doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it's lovely.
Yep.
You're getting a return from month one, but it can happen. But yeah, these guys do corporate health, so they work with large organisations to provide all sorts of healthcare services. So they're kind of a B2B story here. So we didn't do the conversions for them, but in terms of their patients, but we converted them to the B2Bs. But again, a very, very good story. That is kind of somewhere in the middle of that budget sense, from between 24,000 and 137,000. What I will say, this is the last one of the success stories, is they've all followed the same framework, and that framework is the framework that we've developed, the BAM framework, and it's repeatable. So for anyone kind of going, well, I do this and I build clouds in the sky to make more rain, which I think is even a thing.
it is.
It's a repeatable framework that can be applied into any industry, even the rainmakers.
Very true. Now, do you want to hear about the last most recent poll result there, Lachlan? It's
Yeah.
how confident are you in your marketing strategy? So actually a high percentage, 47 people say they're somewhat confident in figuring it out. 2% are saying they're very confident. Sorry, 12% are saying they're very confident, which is two people.
Yep.
28% are not confident at all. It's hit or miss. And the other two people say, what strategy? So like there's zero strategy. That's very honest. But a lot of people are somewhat confident.
Great. That is great. Yep. Good to hear. Budgeting. How do you budget? The question, how much does digital marketing cost? I usually get into my smart-ass mode and
move on to the next slide,
them...
Lachlan, or something that you...
Oh, my interweb isn't working.
Yeah, you've just paused there for a moment.
Yeah,
you're back now. No, you're back now.
Good.
You go for it.
Yep, excellent. Yep, I was just saying the lovely question, my favorite question: how much does digital marketing cost? And it's not a question. However, it can be answered by here, and it's usually a percentage of revenue. Now, this is not like here's the best way to do it. This is based on here's what people who do have marketing budgets, here's what they spend. Bit of a distinction there, small distinction, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, 5 to 10% of your top line revenue should be spent on marketing. Now that can be less, it can be more. If you say, I'm going all in, we want to triple the size of our team, our revenue by next year, then you're going to want to push the boundaries of that number. But this is a really good indication that you can go into Xero or QuickBooks or whatever you use, get your top line revenue, times it by 5% to 10%, there you go. That's how much you should be spending. And if you say you haven't got any money left over after that, then that's where we were kind of talking about that your profit margins aren't set right. And that's really not something I could help you with, because that's your cost base. But this is where you should be. This should be a sweet spot.
And I know a lot of people here, Lachlan, are from the medical world, and that second bullet point there is very unsurprising. Medical practices, including GPs, often spend just over 2% of their revenue.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else we can say about that, but it's... I
I've got plenty to say about it, but my world is medical. I lived it, you know,
Yeah.
and I know that world very, very well. That's why we started off as a medical based agency. You know, I know why that happens, but any medicos can shoot me an email and say, Lachlan, why does that happen? And I'll give you my spiel. Not for
Yes.
today.
And we know that a lot of people in this in this webinar, practice managers, a lot of you, we know that you get it, but it's very hard sometimes to convince the other people within your organization. So FAQs, we've got 8 minutes left here, Locke. And by the way, the success for businesses in the next 6 months poll, more leads or inquiries again. So that's the clear winner, is that people need to get to drum up more business, basically, and that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
I'll do one more poll. It's investing more into marketing until now. Okay, what stopped you from investing more into marketing until now? And I'm going to guess what the winner is, but I won't foreshadow
While
this.
we're doing that, and while we're FAQing for those people who can multitask, chuck in your Q&As if you've got any questions. I hope that's working.
Yeah.
And yeah, throw them in while we're going through our frequently asked questions.
It's definitely turned on. So if it's not working, we'll blame Zoom. There it is. Someone's raised their hand.
Bloody Zoom.
So Emma's raised her hand, but I don't really know.
That's the one from earlier, I think.
Oh, it's just coming up again, is it? It's an unanswered hand. All right, so FAQs. How long does it take to see results? So this is all to be taken with a grain of salt because there's no hard and fast rules about any of this. But commonly, SEO takes months to see results, especially if you have a new website with a very well-established website that Google is already likes and has already had SEO done on it. Sometimes it's quicker, but normally, you know, it's a matter of months. You don't just put a page up and say, all right, we're going to start ranking for this tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. Very rare cases you can, but that's probably in an uncompetitive keyword. Ads, you do get immediate results from Google ads and Facebook ads and Instagram ads, but they also take time to mature. So a Google ads campaign, yes, it'll start showing at the top of the results, but it has machine learning within the platform itself, plus the data that comes back to the human being sitting in front of the panel. And then we make decisions, the Google ads thing optimizes, and it gets better and better and better as well. But you do start seeing immediate results. Social media is kind of like more of an ongoing kind of thing, but you can do bursts, boosts, ads that will get you some more immediate action, particularly for the awareness phase of things. So the next question, the next FAQ is, do I need all channels? And I think we've sort of answered that before as yes, not for some of those, yes, you need all channels usually, but normally we would prioritize some over others. As I said, if you've got no email list, then it's pointless to do emails, for example. So yeah, it depends on your budget and your goals, of course. I mean, we're happy to do absolutely everything for you, but of course that's will be determined by your budget. Another common question we get is, can I do digital marketing myself? Were you able to do digital marketing yourself, Lachlan?
No idea.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, yes, you could do it if you had infinity time and nothing else to do with your life. Like if you're not running a business, if you're not a practice manager, and if you're not don't have kids and you don't do anything, and you can have a time machine and go back 5-10 years in time and learn everything. Yes, you can do it yourself. And maybe if you're in a really uncompetitive market where no one else is doing what you're doing, then sure, you can probably do some of it yourself. I would heavily advise you not to do Google ads yourself. I know this myself, years and years ago, I was trying to do Google ads myself before I knew anything about it. And I just, like everyone else, wasted a lot of money and got nothing out of it.
But I guess the thing with an agency is we've got a Google ads team of experts. We've got a social media team of experts. They're not those people. We've got an SEO team. They're not the ads or with each person that makes up the ecosystem of digital marketing, we've got a team of experts to do. So for one person to do it, boy, it's very, very difficult.
Exactly right. So do you want to hear the result of that last poll, Locke, which is what stopped you from investing more into marketing until now? I'll tell you that the winning result is budget constraints. So 42% of people, and then the other one said not knowing who to trust. That's another common one we get. We get a lot of people coming to us after having been with the other agencies and having a bad experience. It's a pretty common one, isn't it, Locke? Yep.
Absolutely.
And
we do
lack
have.
of,
There you
go.
go. Go ahead. Oh, I was
you-
going to say we've got a question, but if you haven't finished that,
Okay, and
it's a
yeah, and the other one
great
is
question.
lack of internal resources. Anyway, I'll do the
Mm.
one more poll. Oh, we got a question. Do we?
Question: How much of my time will you need? Which is a great question.
Yep.
So this is I guess as much or as little as you want, but there are some structured time, which is we send a monthly report out to you, which we then have an account manager who can run through it. So once a month, you can have an hour and a half to run through the report. Then we have a quarterly review. How did we go over the quarter? Which would be another hour. They're kind of the set and structured items. But then what we have is, we've got a team, we've got an account manager, you've got me, who we all care equally, who you can lean on at any point in time. Hey, I just needed to know how is this ad tracking, or emails and phone calls. But it is a real minimum. It's an absolute minimum time requirement from your side, being the customer side, except for reviewing results that are coming through.
And some people, it's different for everyone though, isn't it? Like we have some clients who just contact us like once every 3 months, say, hey, can you do me a page on this? We go, okay. And that's it. And you don't hear from them because everything's going great. And then you have the clients who want to be more involved in like the tone of stuff we do for them. For example, if we're doing
Yep.
a lot of content, they want to be really involved in it, or social media, they want to keep doing their social media, and we kind of support their social media with our expertise in doing certain other posts and advertising
Absolutely.
and all
Or
that
even if
stuff.
you got photos, you got new photos that you want to
Yeah.
send through to our team, and I need you to upload this. We've just got a new staff member. I need you to add this photo. So it's if you've got that part where you want to be providing us digital assets like photos, videos, then that's kind of part of it as well.
Yeah. So it's everyone's different, but we're very used to accommodating people who are, want to be very involved, or people who basically don't want to be involved at all. We've got a team that's very, used to accommodating all those things. So we're coming up to 1 minute to go here, and I think we've done all our poll questions, Lachlan.
Final one. Do you want a 15-minute free
Yeah,
strategy session with me?
with Lachlan, yes. Well,
you
we've
can
got
listen to me for 15 more minutes. We probably won't spend 15. We'll end up spending 30 or something.
Yes. Well, we've got 7 people said yes to that, Lachlan. That's 33% of the attendees. So yes, you do have some people who are absolutely in.
The rest of you must just be clients already.
They must just be clients and just came to spend some more time with us.
Excellent. Look, there's absolutely no obligation whatsoever.
No.
Well, that was there. When should I expect to see results? I think that's kind of covered with your previous slide there. Depends what you've got. If it's Google Ads, that you hit the green button, you get results straight away. The thing that I guess the caveat with that is that the refinement of the results. You'll get leads. Are they the right lead? Did they buy? Did they turn into a big customer? That's the part that is the refinement. But you will get results straight away. SEO medium term. It all depends on what it is that the result is that you're wanting to achieve, and then what tools, I guess, the how of what we're doing to achieve that goal. If you say I need to sell 70 of these things in the next week, we probably won't be able to do it for you.
No. Should also say, Lachlan, just one quick thing to wrap up here is when we talk about what should you do and what shouldn't you do in terms of what channels to use, is that we can see inside the Google Analytics panel like how many touch points there are for someone to make a purchase or make an appointment with some of our clients, and it's really amazing. Some of the times someone will come in contact with you with one of your digital assets 8, 9, 10, 12 times before they make a purchase or make a booking. And we can see all that. We can see that they've visited the website through an ad, and then they've gone out to social media, then they've come back, then they've gone away for 2 weeks and come back through SEO, then they've went to this Facebook page again, and then they've come back, and then after all that, they've made a booking. And so that's why we sort of like try and cover all the things, all the channels, because it really does, people, particularly if it's a very expensive thing that they want to get from you, then they're going to, make sure that they're spending their money with you, and then going to check all of your online assets, really. And I think that's all I have to say about that.
Fantastic. Wrapping up. so much love for you guys spending an hour of your day here on Wednesday, the 27th. Really appreciate your time. I hope we've added some value to you. If not, please feel free to tell anyone except for myself. Yeah, just throw some questions out to hello@Heartbeat Digital if we didn't cover anything that we had. Irene, one last question. We'll be in touch. I love it. Love it. Anyway, great. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate
Thanks, everybody.
you all.
Thanks, everyone. Any questions?
Signing off.
We're here to answer them. See you later.
Absolutely.